Sometimes it'd be great to have eyes like a pigeon. But now we kind of almost can with the Reolink 3V Duo. It's time for another camera on the channel. It's the Reolink 3V Duo. And the interesting thing about this that made me want to put it up here is that it has these two lenses that gives you 180-degree view, like a pigeon, either way, right? So I'm going to put it up in the shed because I have this, well, basically 180-degree view of this area here that I'm sort of covering, sort of not. I have cameras but not exactly on it. So I thought this would make a lot of sense. It's just a PoE camera. It's super easy to install, I hope. So first, let's take it out of the box and see what we've got, and then I'm going to install it. But let me just first show you where it's going to go and why. So this is essentially the view that I want to capture with this, right? So it's going to go just up there. It's a bit, I know it's in the shade, but you'll see where it's black at the top of the screen. That's where the camera's going to go, and then get all of this view here with just one camera. That's the plan at least. And I think at the end we should try and see if we can actually get this into Unifi Protect as well with the AI port and see how much of the data that comes through, because it should be, well, all of it, I hope. But yeah, first let's get out the box and install it. All right, let's get out the box. Of course, my got OHS approved thingy here. So as always, do not accept if seal is broken. Don't own a seal, so I don't know. It's always neatly packaged by Reolink. I've done quite a few of the cameras on the channel, both Wi-Fi, solar, cable, all sorts. We got some stickers, we got some marketing material, and the most important thing, we have a mounting template. So we're going to probably need that, and there's a little wipe for the camera. Oh, nice. All right, cool. And here's the camera. Ooh, that's chunky. Yeah, we'll get to the specs a bit later, but yeah, there's no plastic here. Well, maybe the dome, I think, but that's all sort of aluminum alloy type thing. Wow, this is really nice, really chunky. Everything, yeah, there's the the speaker rather, because of course it has a speaker. Two lenses, and the PoE here, so that's connection and power. Okay, all right. That is, many things, all right. Oh, not that many things. Anyway, here's the watertight grommet for the PoE. There's a tiny, tiny short Cat 6 cable, which I'm probably not going to use. And there's some screws for mounting it. Well, that's easy. All right, let's put it up above me here, and then I will talk you through how it all works and what the specs are. All right, time for install. So I'm going to put it here. So I've added this board here to get it down, because otherwise I'm just going to film the gutter, I think, which is not ideal. This shed is being replaced later on, hence I have no problem putting these sort of temporary solutions on. And as we know, the most permanent solution is the temporary one. So I'm going to put that here. So I'm going to use the template, and then this now comes apart. So I've unscrewed these screws on the side, so that hangs down like that. And then we're going to put that on there, and I'm going to get the cable coming down from here, I think from the top, and then screw in through there, put that back on, and we should be in business. Yeah, so let's do that. So as always, there's multiple ways of installing it. So I've taken the screws out, and now we've got the inner workings of it. So the Reolink logo is at the top, I'm assuming. So we're going to put it up here like that. And then the cable is going to come out the bottom. And look at this, it doesn't fall off, it's got a little wire on it. Here, we'll take it out the bottom and then run it up along the side. That's the best I can do with this setup. So I guess that'll have to do. One little note here, see there's a little hatch on the back over here. I just took that off, and it's actually just a speaker in here. I'm assuming because some jurisdictions will not allow you to have audio, you can take it off or out or change it. I'm not sure. That is now on. The screws are sticking out the back because the board isn't thick enough. But again, this is not a permanent installation. It's only temporary for 5 or 6 years. So This isn't quite straight for some reason, but that's okay because you can actually just move this. So it sort of caters for that. So even if I don't get this up completely straight because it's temporary, I can still move the camera up and down. I can go like that. I can move it, pan and tilt until I just get it right. But I think that's probably looking okay. All right, I'm gonna pop this back on. And this will guide nicely up the side here. Here's the cable I've prepared earlier. Look at that, very nice. All right, okay. All right, we'll fire it up and I'll show you how it looks. All right, the Reolink Duo 3V is installed. It's just up there. And let me show you what the picture looks like. So I've got the app open, and as you can see, it's very wide as we expected because it's two cameras stitched together. All right, so we've got two lenses and it becomes one. So I can start here by, before I get into all the features, just turn the screen. Now you're gonna see it like itty bitty because that's the way it records it, but you can see it becomes full screen, and I'll show you here, it's like the whole thing, right? The whole phone is sort of like that. So that's kind of neat. It is wide, and I think I got the placement right. I think I got it right. So that I'm only getting a little bit of the roof here, but that's as expected because it is that much of a, you know, fisheye, I guess it is sort of. All right, so image seems clear, but let's just go through some of the features and what it can do. So up the top here, to start with, we have a siren. So we can trigger an audio alarm, so you can hear it now if I do this. Right, audio alarm, that's sort of self-explanatory. It's not too loud. We're not talking AI horn loud. Then we can turn the light on. Now you can't see that, but there is a light in it, and you can turn it on at night. So that's there. This is just to show more cameras. You can see here is the other Reolink cameras. These are the ones I set up for my friend Michelle. If you didn't see that video, go check that out, because a lot of you have asked, what do I do with devices that I replace or that I don't use anymore? Well, I sort of re-gift them or pay them forward because, well, why not? Give them a new life, get other people to use it. So Michelle now has some of those Reolink cameras and Unifi things. And then we have these settings, which I'll get to those in just a second. Down the bottom here, we have just talk. We can talk to it. So I can, you know, say here, go tap to talk. Hello, YouTube. And then it reverberates because it records itself. So we can tap to talk, we can do playback. So I've only just inserted the SD card. So it came with a 64 gigabyte SD card that, again, Reolink has provided the unit for review of the device, and they provided the SD card as well. So it was ready to go. And I can do playback here, and we can see if there's nothing in. I've literally just turned it on, right? So, but that's where events will look. But when we look at the night vision footage a bit later, I will show you some of those as well. Then we have a pause button, so we can just pause the live stream if you want to do that. I'll play it again, loading stream. There is a audio, so whether we want to enable record audio so you can hear sounds I just said, I'll show you that in just a second. We can have a snapshot, so took a photo, saves the camera roll. There is recording to the phone, now we're recording the video from that. We can do that too, there you go. And we can then choose the resolution. This is Reolink language. We have clear, balanced, or fluent. Because I don't know why, but they don't want to say 4K or whatever. So this has two 4K cameras in it. So clear is the highest resolution. I'm going to put it on that. And balanced is, I think it decides, and fluent is the low resolution because it records better. I don't know. That's just what they call it. Okay. And we can do full screen like that, like I just did before. Very good. So let me look at some of the settings, and we'll look a bit more of the footage in just a second. You can see if I put a 64 gigabyte SD card in it, so that's what it's set up there at the top. There's nothing that's been recorded yet. It's PoE powered, that's what that blue icon is, and we can choose in the display. Now, do I want to stream, or, you know, here we go. Here's the clear and the fluent resolution. You can see that the clear is the 4K, well, in this case, 8K resolution because it's double. Frame rate mode, bit rate mode, auto, variable, whatever, that's fine. Anti-flicker, sure, 60 Hertz, I think that's okay. Day and night auto. So this is, do we want black and white or color or auto for day and night? The color comes on if there's light enough, as in it turns the spotlight on, but we'll look at that later as well. The brightness there, and then we need to choose where to put the camera name. I like having bottom right, that's fine. Date, I don't want top center, let's go top left. I think that looks better. And I don't need the watermark. I don't need to say that it's Reolink, that's fine. Privacy mask is, you can block out a part of it that will never be recorded. Basically it records black on that. So if there was, you know, a bit that should never ever be recorded, a bit of the, where, it, you know, the camera, then you use the privacy mask. We have advanced, auto switch of color modes, threshold, okay, I don't know. Okay, you can choose the threshold for when it's black and white or color. Image stitching. So we can actually fine tune the distance to achieve the best effect. I'm gonna leave it at default. I think it looks all right where it's stitching. You can just see in the middle, it's just a tiny bit of difference in the blue. I don't know if you can see it. But for me, that's fine. I'm not gonna mess with that right now, but you can. All right, and what else do we have? Brightness and shadows. Right, auto, color, black, white, yeah, that's fine. There's a lot to do with the black and white or color, apparently. All right, so that's the display. Sounds, by default, and I left it like this to show you, it does not record audio. And it used to, and the other Reolink cameras I've used, it does record audio by default, it's all on. I think this may have something to do with the legislation in some countries where you are not allowed to record audio. So they turn it off by default to not get in trouble maybe. I'm gonna turn it on. I wanna record audio and I don't need the sound test again. That'll be just the loud again. And noise reduction, that's probably all right. I don't mind the noises if I'm honest. But if you had like a whirring sound in the background, maybe that's where you wanna filter out. All right. And then we have the light, it's pretty easy. Do you want night smart mode, as in it turns the light on and off, but we'll look at that later when we look at night vision. Detection alarms, so if something comes into the zone, so we can have a non-detection zone. So this is where we don't want to receive alerts about. So for example, I don't really want, I'm gonna paint here. We don't want up here, you can see there's a little bit of a black that goes over here, so that I'm painting that. And then I wanna paint over here because I don't want alerts over there as well either, right? So sort of something like that is what you could do. And say, okay, I'm not gonna get alerts for that zone, or for that where I painted. And then we have a motion mark. When clear mode is selected, detected moving objects will be marked. So let's put that on. Maybe that does something, I'm not sure. Sensitivity, again, motion detection, high sensitivity. I'm gonna put a little bit lower. It's just my experience with Reolink is that I wanna have it a little bit lower because a lot of stuff here, trees, etc., creates motion events, and I don't need all of it. Smart detection, we want to have that on. Person, vehicle, animal, that's fine. We'll keep that at 60. That's okay because we do want to have those on there. Save that. So that's the detection alarms. Camera recording is on, of course, or you can just have motion recording schedule, so you only record motion at a certain time. Post-recording duration for events, etc. But I'm just going to record all the time. Oh, continuous recording schedule is off. Oh, the schedule is off. Yeah, no, we're just going to record all the time, I think. Is that what it does? I'm not sure. Continuous recording schedule. Well, I just want it all the time. So I probably have to do that actually. I think that's how it works. Let me save it. Yep. So now we should be recording. Yep, you see already 10 megabytes been used. Aha. So it wasn't recording automatically either. It used to do that too. All right, so there's a few changes to the default settings. Push notifications, let's put them on. Why not? That's fine. Yep, we're gonna allow that. It's just in the app. So if something happens, and there we go. Device notification, nope, that's fine. Schedule, push interval seconds, yep, that's all good. We'll leave that on there. The schedule, that should be all the time. Enable, yep, good. And we're getting there. Email alerts. Actually, I don't want email alerts. I don't need any more emails, thank you very much. And FTP on, where does it go? Okay, I don't actually have any FTP settings, but this is one of the neat things that you can do with these cameras is that you can push the footage to an FTP server if you have one. Bit old school, but actually works. Siren is off, yep, and we haven't linked any devices. We can create time lapses here, which is actually quite neat. It works quite well. It might even work really well with this. So like a sunset type time lapse or something. Who knows, if you were have on a building site, you can put it on that. So there's a different kind, you know, selection of time lapses that you can put on. And we have advanced, which is just password, date, time, stuff like that. So cool. I think that's it. If I press on the camera at the top here itself, it just goes to all the different bits about the camera, such as, you know, IP address, build number, hardware version, etc. So that is pretty much it. All right, I think we should try and get it into Unifi Protect. So before we jump into Unifi Protect and look at ONVIF for the Reolink camera, maybe now is a good time to subscribe. Yes, hit that subscribe button, the big red one. It's really easy to hit. Like it'll make you feel better. Yeah, go hit that. Because this year I am still going for 50,000 subscribers. Ambitious, I know, but I think we can get there with a bit of help from the community, so that'd be awesome. And as always, you know, leave a comment if there's something you want to know about the camera that I didn't cover. What do you think of it? Are you using one? And give it a thumbs up, etc. Or even check out the merch on the shop store as well, or the channel store. So, but let's see how this might work with ONVIF and Unifi Protect. So I'm going to jump into Unifi Protect here. There's all the cameras here. So to get the camera into Unifi Protect, we got to enable ONVIF on the camera itself, and it's done here under the network info on the camera, so you can sort of just see it there. And there's an advanced button, and in here there's RTSP. There we go. Focus, and you can enable ONVIF. So that is what we need to do in order to, well, make it visible on the network so that Protect can find it. So that's step one, is to actually enable it on the Reolink camera itself. And then as soon as I've done that, it actually just pops up here. IPCBO, that's what it's called, I'm assuming. But it just pops up on the network and Protect finds it because it's looking for ONVIF cameras. So we click to adopt that. So this is what you set up when you adopt the camera onto your Reolink account. Confirm that. And then, here we go, third-party camera adopted. And it's down here. You can see Reolink, there it is, Reolink Duo 3V, yada, yada, yada. All right, so we have it inside of Unifi Protect. And of course, this is pretty cool because I use Unifi Protect a lot. I use Reolink cameras a lot, but it's easy to have one place in general where you go and look at the footage. And I just prefer the Protect app. So if I go into here, oh, we have, it's still spinning, but it's wide. Look at that. Look at the image. It looks like it's wide. So there's hope. Let's see. If I click play here, let's see if we can get a live stream. There it is. Look at that. And yeah, you see the seconds are counting. So there's the live stream for the 180-degree Duo 3V PoE. And well, the quality seems a little bit meh, but we can change it here. No, it's already high quality. All right, so that's what's coming through. Now, Reolink will do a whole bunch of detections. We saw that. Vehicle, animal, person, motion detections, all those things, right? But those don't come through on the ONVIF protocol, at least not into Protect, right? So I need to enable that. And the way you do that with Unifi is that you use the AI port. So I have an AI port. We just close this here, over here. Whoop. There we go. It's just, oh, there we go. Coming on and off. Where'd it go? Hello? Yeah, no, it's still spinning. Okay. So I have an AI port here. So I'm click on that. And in here I can manage it. So currently it's set up for a bunch of my older Unifi cameras which do not have all the AI detections. But I can manage that. So let's unselect these. And then instead we're going to select just the one camera here. So currently the AI port only supports one ONVIF camera, one third-party camera. So I'm just going to choose that here. I'm going to click save, and we should now get AI detections from the Reolink camera into Unifi Protect. All right. So it doesn't seem to want to do the streaming image here, but anyway, let me just open that again. See if we can get it open. All right, so there it is. All right, cool. So let's see if we can get some detections of it. I'm just going to go and walk in front of it, and we'll see if that turns into a detection in Unifi Protect. All right. I didn't end up going down and walking in front of the camera because I noticed that it wasn't actually pairing with the AI port. no matter what I do. So I pair the camera like you saw before, and then I choose the Reolink here, and it says maximum connected because you only have one ONVIF camera on the AI port. I click save, and it doesn't pair it, like nothing happens. I've restarted everything. I have tried doing the advanced option and typing in IP address, username, password manually, still doesn't do it. I thought it had something to do with the maximum resolution, because it says here it's 4K, 3840 by 2160 and 30 frames per second. It may still be why, but I have now lowered the resolution on the Reolink camera to that fluent setting that I showed you before, which is less than this. It's like 15 something by 700, and it still doesn't do it. So I'm not sure. I would have liked to have the AI port on there to create actual detections. But again, as always, if you know why it's doing that, or why I can't pair it with the AI port, I don't have the option right now of inserting it manually. It wouldn't work with the setup I have for that camera right now. Maybe that would work if I had it physically inside the AI port, which I doesn't. The AI port is in the rack just here in the office. But yeah, let me know in the comments why this might not work or what I'm doing wrong. I'm not sure, but I would have liked to have seen that. Anyway, it's in here. It is an ONVIF camera that is in Unifi Protect. I just can't get it to the AI port, so I can't get these smart detections happening right now. Oh, and it's gone all green. Oh, there we go. But it's streaming, and I have the image, and I can see it in Protect, so that's good. All right, let's talk price and specs for just a second, because that's probably where it really shines, if I'm honest. So I'm in Australia, obviously. The Reolink Duo 3V PoE, which is the one I've just put up, is 231 or 232 Australian dollars. That is very good price for a camera this quality. It feels super solid. When you saw it, it's really well designed. It's really well manufactured. It's solid. It's chunky, and you get a lot of features. Right, $232. I think that's a very good price. That's just my opinion. But this is the page for it. This is all the marketing blurb, you know, yada, 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 the normal things that we always see. This thing I haven't been able to do is see the full story. I think it's coming soon maybe or something. But apparently, it says new from Reolink, the Reolink Duo 3V PoE visualizes the movement path of people, vehicles, and animals. You get one image that has all of that movement in it. I'm not sure that's there yet, because I certainly haven't found it. But there's a whole bunch here. IK10 vandal proof. I'll talk about that more in just a second. SD card, yeah, up to 256 gigabytes of SD storage, which is good, or you can use an NVR. And the app. Anyway, let's go look at the specs. So this is a dome camera, right? So it has a plastic dome over it. Traditionally, I've had some issue with condensation in those things. If you saw my last video on the G6 dome from Unifi, they've put some desiccant in it that is supposed to take that moisture. Maybe that's the solution. But anyway, we'll see how this performs when that, further on when we might have or not have moisture in it. But the specs, 2.8 inches. It's a weird way that they're measuring sensors, I gotta admit. My video on the G6 Instant has an explanation of what all that means. The resolution is 16 megapixels, so it's two 4K or two 8 megapixel images next to each other. The lens is f-stop of 1.6, which is pretty low, which should be pretty good at night. But yeah, we'll see that as well. And video compression is H.265, so smaller files, which is good, but not everything can run those files or can show them. Yep. Field of view 180. Well, yeah, duh. That's kind of why we're here. Infrared night vision 30 meters. Yeah, probably. But I have a lot of infrared around, so that'll help too. That'll give it a bit of help with actually showing things that are farther away at night. We have frame rate. Goes up to 20 frames per second, which is not as high as some of the other cameras that I've tried. 30 frames per second is often the benchmark, I think, sometimes even higher. But yeah, so 20, I don't think it matters a huge deal, but it is not going to be as smooth as you might expect, but still not bad. And we have two-way audio, so we saw that. We can talk to it, and we can get the speaker to do it. Yep. PoE powered. It says use less than 12 watts. I've seen it using
about 4. Like generally about 4. Of course that goes up and down a bit. So very, very low power. There is a DC power port. You can also use a PoE adapter. I've got it straight into PoE on my Flex switch. So the software, I'm not going to go through it too much of this. You can look at it in a browser with the IP address. I prefer to use the app, even though the app is probably the least polished thing about this camera, about Reolink. I think the app feels a bit old. It's been like this for a couple of years at least, or 3 years, looking the same. I think they need to overhaul that app, but that's just my opinion. It's totally usable, but it is a little bit clunky. It could be a bit better, I think. So that's the specs. Pretty good specs for $232 Australian. I can't really complain about that because you get a lot of hardware for that money. And as you saw, super simple setup. So that's the specs.
It's the next morning, and I wanted to show you some of the night footage from overnight. So I've got the app open again, and well, one thing first. Remember how I put the notifications on, the push notifications? Yeah, I'm reconsidering that decision right now because you get a lot. Maybe there's a setting I can change that on, but when the car was out here, because I was in there setting up the camera, as you can see on the screen, that's where it is. Hello. It kept detecting the car as a car every 5 minutes or so. Like, oh, there's a car. Oh, there's a car. I'm like, yeah, you just told me, and it's not moved. So that didn't work quite as well as I thought it would have. Maybe I can put down the sensibility or something like that. But anyway, not as simple as I thought it might be. Anyway, let me show you some of the night footage. So I can go to playback here, so now I can show you that. You can see it's recorded up until now, so it's about 6:30 a.m. now, and there is a whole bunch of footage. Now, one of the things that I didn't realize is that I have lights on the shed here that automatically comes on, and you can see here that it just blows out the lens a bit when the light's on because it tries to do night vision but isn't night vision. So anyway, that's just me, that's not the camera's fault. But let's have a look here. Let's see where we can find. So first I'll show you here, this is like 3:24 a.m. Now I will put that up on the screen there as well, but you can see in general it's really clear. Now you can see there's some light spots on there. That's actually the infrared from my other cameras that are helping illuminate this space here. But in general, if I do that, it is pretty clear. It is not bad. Yeah, I have some light pollution, etc., but that's, you know, gloss over that. But that's pretty good. And of course, if someone walks in front of it, you can have the light turn on. So here it's detected a person. You can see that's Christian running up the hill with the light. So it does detect a person just fine, and you do get notified of that as well. All right, so I don't want to say too much about the night vision. It's pretty good. Make sure you don't have too much light pollution. And there's a spotlight that comes on for color night vision if you want that. Like it did there, it just came on, color night vision. I tend to not have that. I prefer the infrared, but that's just me, because it attracts less attention as well. When you're out here and it's this dark, a light like that just goes, whoa. That's all I had to show on the Reolink Duo 3V, or whatever I've called it throughout the video. It's a really solidly built camera. It really feels really nice. It's, you know, aluminum alloy. Really easy to install, and it was very easy to set up and put into the app. There's just a few of those quirks like notifications, so I've got to figure that out. The fact that it doesn't record automatically by default, you'll make sure you keep an eye on that. But in general, pretty easy to set up. I'm still not a huge fan of the Reolink app. I gotta admit, it's a little bit clunky and messy for me, just compared to the other brands that I've tried. But the hardware quality is really good, and it's super simple. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this content, do make sure that you subscribe. Yeah, I know, there's a big subscribe button down below. And that also gives me a bit of warmth here on the really cold mornings. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I think it's like -1 Celsius. It's not warm, but I do it for you, right? So also leave a comment below. Have you got one of these? Anything you want to know, let me know. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.